Welcome, beloved. Welcome to our second episode of season two. Our second episode of season two. I hope that you were able to listen to last week's episode where we, began to talk about some of the nuances, some of the differences that, we decided to go with season two. We're going to apply a little more scripture, but also some contextual, historical, and cultural context with our study, with our time together. So. Remember last week we began talking about Exodus. We talked about the culture, the Egypt consciousness, right? One that keeps you in bondage, in spiritual bondage and mental bondage. Those things that keep you from really elevating. Okay, we talked about the historical context was with the hierarchy within the Egyptian structure. We talked about the Hebrews as slaves, what that represented. Well, we talked about now consciousness. We talked about a couple of things just to give some context, right? Context as to what's going on culturally, what's going on historically in this portion of Exodus. Okay, so we're gonna move on, move into this next phase of consciousness. Okay, this next phase in Exodus, we're going to talk about the burning bush, divine awakening, and sacred calling. The burning bush, divine awakening, and sacred calling. Again, this is I want to welcome you to Connecting the Source with Rev Stephon. And of course, I am your host, Rev Stephon. And today we're going to explore Moses' encounter with the burning bush as a profound map for spiritual awakening and divine calling. Not just a physical encounter, right? But as a spiritual awakening, as a map, okay, a map moving towards spiritual awakening and divine. And as always, we want to make sure that we are in sacred space, that we are in a safe container. So I want you to make sure that you are in a relaxed state as you're listening to this podcast, and close your eyes, taking a deep breath. Remember, deep breath, feel your diaphragm, what I call baby breath. Deep breath. And as you're breathing in, as you are regulating your breathing, I want you to imagine in the center of your forehead, imagine in between your eyebrows at your third eye, I want you to imagine a burning bush. Okay. And if you can't imagine a burning bush, maybe a very shiny object of some sort, a light that's shining there. I want you to imagine it. Imagine that burning bush, okay, in the middle of your forehead, and breathe in deep. Breathe in all the positive energy. Breathe out. Breathe out the negativity, right? Breathe in and see that burning bush. See the burning bush. See it burning. See the flames, but it's not being consumed. Feel that flame, feel that glow. I want you to feel it from the top of your head to the sole of your feet, right? Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. I want you to feel the warmth, feel that divine presence. Breathe in, deep breath, hold it, and breathe out. Right. So, and in the scripture, now Moses is born. Moses is born. There's an edict. There is a decree from the Pharaoh to kill all the firstborn males of the Hebrews, and then we know that is given to the midwives to during childbirth to go ahead and just kill the babies. But there are a couple that are named, a few other more than likely, did not follow and disobeyed that decree. And we know that Moses is spared. His mother puts him into a basket and puts him into the Nile. That's significant because the Nile, remember, the Nile is the lifeblood of the region. It is the lifeblood of the region. His mother puts him into the Nile. His sister watches what's going on. She sees Pharaoh's daughter, right? Pharaoh's daughter and her maids are bathing in the Nile, and the baby or the basket is spotted. The Pharaoh's daughter opens up the basket, sees the baby. His sister says, "Would you like me to, get a Hebrew woman, because this is a Hebrew baby, right? A Hebrew woman to nurse." And so she says, "Go ahead." And of course, she brings back the child's mother, Moses' mother, who ends up raising and nursing Moses, right? And up to a certain age, then when she's given fully over to Pharaoh's daughter, he's raised in the house as a son of Pharaoh, raised in, the palace, okay? Knows the tradition. And then one day, he's out. He sees the taskmasters. We know we saw that with the represented last week, and he's abusing a Hebrew. Moses intervenes. Not so much intervenes. He attacks the taskmaster and kills him, buries him in the sand. Comes back and a couple of days later, and he sees two Hebrews fighting. And he intervenes, and then, of course, now he thought what he did was not seen. He was able to cover it up, but obviously not, because he says, "What are you going to do? You're going to kill me like you did the Egyptian." And so now he fears for his life, and he flees. He flees to Midian. That's in the shadow of Mount Horeb. And, he sees these maidens out at the well. They're being accosted by some shepherds. He goes in, intervenes, and then he's invited to dinner. And he's end up marrying the priest of Midian's daughter. Okay. And so he also begins to take care of the priest, his father-in-law's sheep. So now he's in Midian. That's where we pick up. So now the context in scripture here is out of Exodus 3:2-4. And it says, the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame out of the fire, a flame of fire out of the midst of the bush. Okay. And he looked, and behold, the bush was burning, yet it was not consumed. And that's super important, because there's nothing unusual, right? He's going about his day. There's nothing really unusual about a bush burning in the desert. Okay. However, it was the fact that it was burning but not being consumed. We know that fire consumes. My prayers go out to those that right now fallen victim to the fires in South Carolina, those, of course, in California, and anybody who has encountered that and suffered and lost because of fires. And so, but this fire is not consuming this bush. And so it's something unusual. It's something unusual that happens in a usual situation or circumstance. And so this miraculous moment reveals the pattern of divine awakening. So there is a pattern when it comes to divine awakening. There is a pattern. And we see this pattern that's hidden in these layers of scripture. And in this scripture, right, two passages basically, where he's doing something that is ordinary, but he encounters something extraordinary. Okay. And that is this bush that's it's on fire, being consumed. And then also the angel of the Lord appeared. The angel of the Lord speaks out. So, there is this ordinary, it was an ordinary day, but there is this extraordinary encounter. Okay. So this is reveals the pattern of divine awakening. There is this pattern, this divine awakening. What in this pattern, what we pull out is the burning yet not consumed. We mentioned that burning yet not consumed. This is this paradox of divine presence that transforms while not destroying. So this bush is transformed into something, from something ordinary to something extraordinary, yet its essence is not destroyed. And that is, a part of the pattern of our own divine awakening. We are, these rather ordinary humans. However, the paradox is that there is a divine presence inside of us, right? We maintain who we are, but there is something divine about us, yet it transforms us and not destroys us. That this divine revelation, this pattern of divine revelation is how spiritual awakening follows periods of ordinary experience. Okay? Go about our day-to-day. We go about our usual. And then through this pattern, there is this awakening, this spiritual awakening, it follows, these periods of just ordinary existence, ordinary experiences, the mundane, basically. Okay. And so there is enough of it that causes us to turn our attention. Moses turned his attention to something that was ordinary yet extraordinary at the same time, right? So this critical moment of recognition is when our consciousness shifts towards divine presence. There's a turning that happens in our ordinary experience towards the divine presence of the presence of source. Okay. And so in this divine awakening, remember there's a pattern. It's the burning yet not consumed, the divine revelation, the attention turning, and then also sacred recognition. It is the understanding that awakening moments require our conscious acknowledgement. Awakening moments require our conscious acknowledgement. Okay? So this is this pattern of divine awakening. This pattern. And what's revealed here is this paradox, the divine presence that transforms without destroying, how spiritual awakening follows periods of ordinary experience, and that critical moment of recognition when consciousness shifts towards divine presence, and understanding that awakening moments require our conscious acknowledgement. Okay? So we have this divine awakening in when Moses encounters this bush, and then also once he encounters this bush, he's told to take his sandals off. Why? Because it is holy ground. So now we must within this divine awakening, we must develop a holy ground consciousness. We must develop a holy ground consciousness. So we remove our shoes, and in removing our shoes, we are releasing worldly perspectives and limiting beliefs. Okay, we're releasing. We're removing those shoes. We're removing those things, that keep us from really realizing the revelation, really realizing, this sacred moment. We have to move past our worldly perspectives and, get rid of our limiting beliefs so we can approach the divine truth. We can't take that baggage with us. We can't take that baggage with us. We got to remove our shoes, move away from worldly perspective, get rid of our limiting beliefs, and in order to approach divine truth. Okay, and there it is. And then recognize that there's this sacred presence. We create these sacred spaces, when we're in our time together. And I hope that you do it, throughout your day. But there's this sacred presence. We're recognizing the divine consciousness in everyday moments and ordinary places. So these is just, again, routine. Taking the sheep out, routine, tending to the sheep, routine. And so in this sacred presence, we have to recognize, our divine consciousness, the connection with source, the divine, connecting with the divine in everyday moments and ordinary places. Right. And so then once we do that, there is a divine revelation. This divine revelation, it is how truth reveals itself gradually as we become ready to receive it. So we have to become ready to receive it. I know we touched upon in season 1 how the call went out, but you got to be ready to, answer the call like Abel. There is this divine truth, and it reveals itself gradually. We see, through that it didn't happen immediately for Moses. It happened gradually. And it happens with us the same way. It is something that happens gradually as we become ready. We have to become ready to receive the divine revelation. And then that is when transformation begins. So the transformation beginning is the initial stages of consciousness shift, a shift in consciousness that follows recognition. Okay, this shift in consciousness, the initial stages, as we have a consciousness shift, it has to follow recognition. So you have to recognize first. This is sacred. You have to have that understanding first. Okay, in these initial stages, as we have this consciousness shift. And so now we move to our sacred calling, the sacred calling. We all have a call. We all have a call. There is a sacred calling. There's a call upon all of us who are spiritual, all of us who are in alignment, all of us who have this God consciousness. Is there sacred calling? And within that calling is a divine commission, and that is understanding our unique purpose. Okay, we are unique, like what? Like fingerprints. We're each unique, but so therefore we have unique purposes. We each have a unique purpose, but it's within a greater spiritual plan. We're just cogs in a wheel. But without those cogs, that wheel does not turn smoothly. Okay, so there is a greater purpose, a greater spiritual plan, but it is our uniqueness, and we have to understand that our uniqueness is within this greater spiritual plan. That is divine commission. And so now within this divine commission and our understanding of a unique purpose that begins to reveal your divine calling emerges through our life experiences and our awakening moments. I know everybody has different experiences. We all experience good. We all experience bad, and in varying degrees, right? But it is we are shaped by our life experiences. Okay, we are shaped by our life experiences. And so this calling, this purpose reveals itself. It emerges through our life experiences and our awakening moments. Okay, and just like Moses resisted, Moses gave every excuse in the book, right? Especially that he wasn't eloquent of speech. Okay, more than likely, a lot of people say he has a speech impediment of some sort. I do too. Right, but The creator, source, was not going to let him get away, let him squirm and squirrel his way out of this calling. Because why? His calling was part of a greater plan. It was part of a greater plan. Okay. So we, through this resistance and growth, there, we don't grow without friction. We don't grow really without going through problems. In fact, we have to be problem solvers. So what is going on is we have to work through doubt. We have to work through fear and limitation. Our fear and limitation, our limiting beliefs, our doubts, our self-imposed doubts, our fears. We have to work through that in answering our call, not before answering the call. So you don't work through all these things and then answer the call. You work through these things while you're answering the call. Okay. And so then, as we go through that, we have this divine assurance. We have this divine assurance. I call it the soul voice. We have this feeling, that peace that goes with, I don't understand. We have this divine assurance when we're trusting in the I am presence. So finally, God says, you tell them that the I am, my name is the I am that I am, the great I am. But so that's source is the great I am. We carry I am inside of us. There's an I am presence that's inside of us to support and guide our purpose journey. Okay? It is there to support and guide us. I know it's cliche by now, but GPS, for the spiritual is God's positioning system. I call it the soul voice. The soul voice is always present. It's always there to support us. It's always there to guide us. That I am that we hold within us. So, before we close out, we don't understand that this divine awakening and this sacred calling, right? In this divine awakening, we understand that there's a paradox that these things happen. We get transformed without being destroyed. That these things happen these extraordinary things happen within just regular, ordinary situations. That, we have to remove our shoes. We have to develop a holy ground consciousness, and we have to release worldly perspectives and our limiting beliefs. We have to recognize that, our divine consciousness in everyday moments and ordinary situations, and that the truth reveals itself gradually as we become ready to receive it. Once we're ready to receive the truth, then we receive the truth, and the truth sets us free. And that, that this transformation, all this stuff is just the initial stages of a consciousness shift that follows that recognition. And we have to understand that we have a unique purpose within a greater spiritual plan, and that divine calling emerges through our life experiences. And we have to work through, the resistance, work through our doubt, work through our fear, work through our limitation when answering the call, and trust that the I am presence is there to support us and to guide us. Okay? So as we go through the week, some things I want you to remember. I want you to practice some things as you go through your week. I want you to notice divine attention getters, those things that are happening, in your ordinary day, your day-to-day, and then, I say these moments are moments of confirmation, moments of revelation and confirmation. Sometimes, you're working through things and what have you, and you might see a bumper sticker, you might see a road sign, you might see whatever, you might encounter somebody, and then all of a sudden, now it speaks to you. You're going through your day-to-day, but there is these things that get your attention. These are divine attention getters These are unusual events or synchronicities that catch your awareness. Okay? So I want you to notice those. I want you also to honor your sacred ground moments. Acknowledge the places and times of divine connection when you are connected, totally connected to source. And I want you to honor those. We talk about, sacred spaces. Know that you are on your own sacred ground, and you remove those things, remove the shoes. You honor those sacred ground moments. And I want you to listen for your purpose. Pay attention to those persistent inner nudges toward your path. That again, that's what I call your soul voice. Your soul voice is always speaking to you. Your soul voice is always nudging you. Your soul voice is that direction. Is keeping you and pointing you towards your calling, pointing you towards your purpose, your path. Okay, that's not going to speak louder than the world. It's not going to speak louder than your doubts. It's not going to speak. You have to be intentional in listening and pay attention to the persistent inner nudges. When something is gradually pushing you, nudging you towards a certain direction, and that is your path. And then trust divine provision. A lot of times we think that we have to have it all, right? Right away. You have to have it all in the beginning, everything we need, all the provision. No. As we find out, later on, that through the journey, right, in the Exodus, through the journey, provision there, what comes about. Provision happens. Provision, resources are provided for them. The manna, the quail, the water is provided. The same thing with you. You have to recognize and trust divine provision. Recognize how resources are provided for your journey. Right? Your calling, your journey, your purpose, the resources are there waiting for you to do what? Recognize and begin to move in that direction. And the resources are going to be provided. So you got to trust it. Okay? Right. So as we close out, we want to close out with meditation, a brief meditation. Okay? So I want you to center yourself. Center yourself again. Visualize that burning bush. Now you have more context. Visualize, imagine that burning bush. Right? Easy, deep breaths. Easy breath in. Hold it. Easy breath in. Easy breath in. Center into divine presence. Breathe out. Feel the sacred ground of your being. Certainly. Understand that you are moving, that notice the burning bush purpose. Allow divine calling to awaken. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, and release out. Notice those divine attention gifts. Remember, and until next week, remember your burning bush awaits, your purpose calls, and you're always connecting and connected to source. Peace, love, and light, beloved.